It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Avalos. And now, let's dish. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're about to serve up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And if you want to follow us on the social media platforms, make sure you check us out on Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on the Twitter. We are also on YouTube because you're watching us now. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell notification so that way you'll never miss a live and in living color episode of Dishin Days. We are also on your favorite podcast stations. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just simply type in Dishin Days. Look us up, follow us, and take us along on that long road trip, that peak of the mountain, or that saucy walk on the treadmill in the gym. We are there for you 24 hours a day via podcast. And also, if you need some merch, buy merch. Go to www.dishindays.threadless.com to get your merch today. Look at all the wonderful things that you can get in a sweatshirt, a towel, a mug, a notebook, a sticker. Just go on, head over to dishindays.threadless.com, pick your favorite, and you can be the ultimate Dishin Days fan. And for your full soap opera fix, make sure you go and subscribe to JLJ Media on the YouTube, JLJ Media on the YouTubes, and support our former co-host and my chocolate twin, James Lott Jr., in all of his soap endeavors. At this time, I also want to just send out our condolences and love and hugs to Mr. James Lott Jr., who just recently lost his stepfather. So we love you, James. We love the Lott family. And we hope that you guys are okay. We're sending you thoughts, prayers, healing, and well wishes, and a bucket of fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's a Black thing. Like when people die in Black families, someone always comes over with a bucket of chicken.
Okay.
It's true. It's true.
I support it.
And our very own Araceli is out this week. She is currently living her life. She is living her life.
So, you guys, if you watched this week and you saw Nicole on Thursday's episode or Friday's episode, that was Araceli last night, but with her phone texting our group chat.
Yes.
And
He's had what? Interesting weekend. Somebody drunk as hell.
She deserves it. She deserves all of it. So kudos to her.
Bottoms up and then some, Araceli.
Oh, she texted Dylan as well. All the way in Australia. Yes, of course.
Man. Not everybody's spilling Araceli's tea. Dang.
Dishin Days, the Araceli Diaries.
What did we think of this week's episodes, y'all?
I enjoyed this week. There wasn't a lot by way of, wasn't, a huge week, but I enjoyed it. It kept me engaged.
Yeah, it was okay for me. Nothing crazy, like on either side. It was just okay for me. Not necessarily info week, but not as good as I think the past couple weeks we've had. But it was fine.
I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was good. I thought there were a lot of dynamic performances this week, and I think this. Aside from some very interesting things that we're obviously going to talk about, I think just like being reminded that like these are some talented people, again, as many of them have said on our show before, you only get one or two takes. Yeah. And what some of them have to do and go through in those 1-2 takes is like magic. So there were just a lot. I noticed a lot of dynamic performances this week. So let's get into it before we all end up like Araceli at a birthday party or middle of the night. It's now time. Oh, 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 oh. There we go. Still trying to figure this out. It is now time to start.
Dishin Days.
Dishin Days. God.
Well, all right. We're going to set it and forget it. Oh my God, that scared me. I thought it was going to tumble over. All right, y'all. We're going to kick things off with Marlena. Hey, Michael, did you hear about Marlena?
Dead. Still dead.
Where is she?
Okay. So, what did you all think about the death of Marlena, the entrance of heaven, and introducing all of that? There were. I asked that because I saw a lot of comments this week about it, and I'm just curious. And we haven't talked about it, obviously, because we wait till today. But I'm curious to know what you guys thought.
I'll say when I was watching it, I won't say I knew exactly what was happening, but I knew something was off. Like when we saw Susan, and just there was something slight. And kudos to Stacy for this. I think she like tweaked the Susan performance slightly, because there was, to me, something while I was watching it. I was like, "There's something off here about this." Didn't know it was the devil or purgatory or whatever it is, but I knew something was off. I especially think when Marlena asked where Kate was, and Susan was like, "Kate wouldn't be here," and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't think Susan would actually say that, let alone a Susan in heaven would say that. So that was like my first.
Yeah, I do. I think Susan would. Yeah, I totally bought it until, they had that moment, at the end where it's like, oh, she's the devil and the devil's back. My first thought was like, oh shit, people are going to be pissed at this. But I completely bought it. I was like, oh, she's in heaven. Mm-hmm. Kate's not there, obviously, because, she has committed basically every sin. It was nice to be reminded that, yeah, Kate was a badass, She didn't always sling chowder at the pub. But no, I'm very, it just made me even more curious about where this was going, because we didn't know the devil was coming back. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff happening or coming out that they've managed to keep under wraps and secret, which, in past couple of years, it's like everything comes out like months ahead. And so then when it happens, it's like, okay, we kind of knew it was happening. So, but this was a surprise, and it just makes me even more curious about what's actually happening. And, these three women are apparently dead, or are they? Or, there's still a lot to be unpacked here. And yeah, it just made me even more curious about what will be unpacked.
First of all, the hospital rooftop scene was absolutely beautiful. The slideshow was amazing. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the slideshow literally stopped at that wedding photo and it never kept going, which I was kind of like, my first thought was like, okay, this is the actor's cue. Like when this photo comes up, then like go into the lines or whatever. But for some reason, I kind of wish that it kept going. And like in the back, there were still even more photos just continuing to flash. But when Marlena entered the pearly gates of this heaven, I thought, yes, Deidre, you better stomp through with your white suit and turtleneck and stuff. Like you are looking.
Of course, she got her turtleneck on, like
right. I was like, you are looking good stepping into heaven. And then I thought, okay, this is an interesting. I thought this was an interesting choice to obviously have Susan there, kind of greeting her, and also just reaffirming that, like, Susan's dead, y'all, but we get to see her one more time. And I thought it was I found the whole thing very interesting. And then when Susan was the devil, I was like, this is an interesting twist because for the longest time, this is again, Days bringing in history. For the longest time, the devil has been trying to get Marlena. Marlena's now dead. So now he's like, now she's playing in my field. You know what I mean? So of course, like it makes sense for that moment to have happened. What's been interesting is the fans' reaction to it. Everyone's like, "Ugh, not this devil thing again. Ugh, not this heaven thing again." But I find it intriguing that they didn't just kill him. Now we're going to see what's going to happen with each of them while they're in heaven, and then also little Easter egg. Bogart Brady. For some reason, he has an asterisk next to his name, and I'm like, explain what that means.
Yeah,
huh?
We know he isn't dead though. Bo?
I mean, yeah, but I think it just reaffirmed. Well, because in Beyond Salem, you remember the last thing we saw was him like, and so I think with the asterisk, it just kind of goes. It reaffirms of okay, there's
the
there's something happening.
What I envision on that sheet is like people with asterisks, and it's like people think they're like folks that people think are dead but are not. You know what I mean?
Oh, like the whole
sheet. That would be the whole list of Salem.
Whole Salem, yeah.
She had a lot.
Like,
I mean,
but Susan should have just had. It would have been funny if she said, "Now this is the regular folks list. Let me check the Salem list."
It's a book she pulls out.
But I'll save that thought for later. But I find this interesting, and I kind of wasn't surprised that maybe like the devil kind of intercepted her way to heaven, and tried to like get her to like go to hell.
See, I'm curious now too. Is it an interception, or is the devil been a part of this story and we just weren't aware of it?
Right.
And that's going to be revealed. You know what I mean? Like that's what went in my head of like, oh, is it an interception, or did the devil take the orchid? Has the devil been orchestrating this? Is this the way we get all three women back to life because it was a supernatural interference that killed them? Or you know what I mean? That sort of thing too. I was wondering.
That's what I started wondering if because Orpheus, who apparently started all this, hasn't been, well, he was seen with Lucas, but
and they sort of dropped that really quickly too.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking too, that maybe the devil has been a part of this plan all along. And of course, what did they do? It was like at the end of Tuesday's episode, and then nothing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I was like, okay, way to drop that nugget and just leave us hanging.
Yeah.
But no, it made me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate when something like that happens, that we weren't expecting, that wasn't spoiled, and and you're just like, oh, that's good. This is good.
Yeah,
I just want to see what happens more, and then we see some stuff in the preview for next week, which is out there. But yeah, as of now, it's just kind of it's a question mark about what's actually going on and who's orchestrating, if anything, and just what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there were
once
some
again, sorry, someone just mentioned Drake, and I'm like, it always takes Marlena, like Drake and Martha and Eric, not Eric,
Greg Vaughn.
Greg Vaughn. We're all had really heavy emotional scenes this week.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe let them have those without having it being Marlena die, because they made reference to it when Marlena was shot and died before, and there was the whole power of attorney thing, and they really brought it, and now here we are again, and they're bringing it. So it's just reminding us of how powerful these, as Tony mentioned earlier, how powerful these performers are, and their their abilities.
Yeah, I mean, Martha Madison took me on a journey this week.
Yeah,
because earlier this week to see her so devastated, and I mean those tears were flowing like you know, even when she first walked in after hearing that Marlena had passed, and she was just like, I just can't, and she walked out. Like
Yeah.
all of that, the story of when she was a little girl and they used to play hide and seek, and the hiding spot that Marlena didn't tell her about, and the power of attorney, and just all of that was like wow. And then towards the end of the week, to going back to being badass lawyer, I was like, Martha Madison, you better
Yeah.
work. And even seeing Greg Vaughn, and we'll get more into this, but I like that Days really is giving Greg a lot of great stuff to work with, because there so much is happening in Eric's world that we are seeing a completely different dynamic than Father Eric. When he was like, when Belle was like, should we go pray again? He was like, you go, because the devil, because God's not listening to me anymore.
Yeah.
I felt that. I was like, whew.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was good. And there was a part of me though that wondered, because each death was obviously very different. Kate died, and then the next day she was in a fancy Kate like urn, right? Kayla just died. There was, but the whole thing happened with like the phone and everything. But with Marlena, you almost kind of, I don't know if you guys had the same thought, but there was this thought of, oh, well, why didn't we have these same kind of moments with Kate and Kayla? And but we're having this like beautiful moment with Marlena, which by the way, they extended that Monday's episode to 47 minutes, which included a wonderful montage.
It didn't feel like it though. It was 47 minutes, but it was a quick, like, it was engaging, so it didn't feel like it. I never got the feeling like, oh, this episode dragged on and on. It wasn't until after I watched it that I realized how long it was.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, when you are riding a bicycle in the gym, it definitely feels like the 47 minutes that it was.
I was on the couch having a cocktail, so
yeah, it was the longest episode today.
Living my Araceli life.
But your peach vodka life. But I love the montage of just their love, and that moment of and this was before I was watching. I don't know if you guys know what the pier moment was. When Drake turns around and he's in the red jacket and he sees Marlena, and then they look at each other, and then
that's the scene they always use with the two of them. That's like an iconic John and Marlena moment, because Marlena had been Marlena had been dead.
Yes, that's a return from the dead.
They reunited on the pier.
Got it. I thought that, and I was like, oh, this is before my time, and I feel like I know what this is. But even that moment, it was just like, wow. And it was just, I don't know. It was I love I love when they do montages and they take us back and to those moments.
The original song, sometimes they do these original song moments, and it's like, okay, this time, like the song that they chose, and I don't know like who the artist was, or if this was something that Days commissioned themselves, or they just licensed it or whatever, but I felt like it was a perfect song to really draw you into it. And I had a moment where I'm like, oh, this is, now we're seeing the Peacock money come in, where we have like the virtual sets, and we have which looked great, and then we have like this original song. They had to pay to probably up-res all of that old footage from videotapes, which costs money. So they're really putting a moment in. And I just kind of assumed that the whole Marlena, it's like Kate died, she's in the urn. Kayla died, and she died. And then with Marlena, it's more of a bigger, a bigger thing. There's got to be, and maybe it'll be explained later why. And now that the devil's back, maybe that has something to do with it. But I just figure like this is leading up. We know that Deidre Hall has her 5,000th episode, and they're making it a thing, right?
Yeah.
So this is all leading up to that, and I just assume maybe that's why Marlena got the more
the stage time,
like the bigger send off than the other two ladies. But we still have a lot to unravel. So
for me, the only complaint about the montage, which I really like, I wish it was more Marlena focused. I felt like it was more Marlena and John focused.
And Marlena.
Yeah, where I was like, it's nice considering they're having that moment and she's dying, but I felt like sprinkle in some just like Marlena scenes that with other people I felt like would have been a little better, but whatever.
Roman said, Debbie Bright said, Roman said Kate didn't want anything. I'm like, I feel you, girl.
Don't make a big deal.
Don't make a big deal. Go about your day. Put me in an urn and just have a good day. But yeah, all right. It's gonna be interesting. I will say it's gonna be interesting. Wait, was there something that I was going to ask? No. Okay. I'm 40 now, so I'm losing my train of thought already. All right, so
welcome to the club.
Gabby wants Stefan deprogrammed.
AKA so, Gabby being Gabby.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really wish Camila was here. I really wish Ron was here. I wish Ryan was here. I wish one of the writers was here. Because I would like to know this. Did Gabby just not pay attention to anything Stefan was saying while she was tiptoeing towards him?
I know.
Stefan was basically saying, first of all, Stefan was like, blah, 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 and then was saying his whole plan as to what he was about to do. And the whole time I'm like, Gabby,
yeah, no, I know. I noticed that too. I picked up on that too. And I'm like, she's not like, she literally went, and I thought there was going to be a moment where maybe she was like,
see.
But no, it was like she was deaf to it. Like she did not give two shits about anything he was saying. All she cared about was being whack and dragging him out.
That's so good. Oh, good. Sorry.
So the question is, did she hear it and didn't care and is like maybe has it as a nugget, or she heard it? I don't know. I'm curious whether she heard it or not, and if it's gonna come up again, or maybe she didn't hear it and wasn't paying attention, and she was just so focused on what she was doing that everything else was muted.
See, I'm with you, Tony. I thought that was going to be the twist, was that she was going to hear him, and then that's where the storyline was going to go of maybe them two teaming up to take down EJ, because now they're, and I was like, this is Gabby's way back in. That's where my mind went of like, oh, she's going to team up with Stefan. This is her way back into Dimera. This is going to set them on a course where they're together a lot or something like that. But no, it just went to Gabby being Gabby, having a one-track mind of like, he needs to be deprogrammed now.
And listen, kudos to her for moving this body with heels on.
Did you notice they cut away that last scene though? They didn't make
which
her.
One?
When
she was outside.
The door. Yeah, and then they had Gabby stay there, and she stood there for a second, and then it took a minute to cut. I was like
she did a look back, like, is anybody here? And then she just like raised that one arm up, and then she was just like, cut.
I didn't know cut yet, so because I'm not dragging this body.
But I was also like, as she was tipping in, Stefan, you didn't hear the door. You didn't hear like one click clack of a heel. Like you just heard nothing. And then she used the eagle statue, and I'm like, you couldn't you can use like the fire poker, like the other side. So because I was like, look at the wing. The wing looked like it, I had so many questions about that scene. And that scene just stuck out because I was like,
oh God.
Like you didn't hire somebody else to come in and like move the body for you. And then EJ, you can look out the corner of your eye and see Stefan
This whole thing was pure comedy. I mean, pure. I thought he was behind the couch at first, and that's why he didn't see him. And then when they revealed he was at the door, and I was like, "Oh, she didn't even close the curtain. Like he was literally
right there."
I know.
But also, what was funny was when EJ was talking to Gabby, and she was like, "Well, EJ," I was like, "Girl, you are out of breath for quickly trying to move that body out of the way." Girl.
Oh god. Too funny.
That scene, I felt like made a lot of people go, like, what? What is
At least they
happening?
tried with the realism of her not, it wasn't like she was like, a superhero who just picked him up and drive, At least they attempted to make it seem like she was out of breath.
Yeah.
Right. What do you guys think of Stefan's plan to kind of backdoor EJ and take over as CEO of Dimera?
It's very Dimera of him.
I thought it was way too quick.
It is very. That's how. I was like, oh, he's going in on this already. We're not going to get seeing him formulate his plan. It's not going to be a slow burn. He's literally thinking it's going to be a one-time drug and done. I was like, that's not going to work.
Yeah, I was surprised about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then I was also like, oh, so we just gonna let the drug mimosa just stay on the okay. I would have been like, if I didn't see someone pour it, I ain't drinking it.
Yeah, well,
that's a good strategy there.
Especially in the Dimera house. It's like being at the club and not seeing the bartender make your drink. No, thank you. Yeah, or you have a nail where someone goes,
oh,
you're like, oh, thank you. No, ma'am.
It's blue.
No, ma'am. So yeah, so that whole thing, that's yeah. I feel like it's okay not to be in control. I think it's fine to be number two. Yeah. So I don't. I mean, okay.
I mean, I guess I kind of I'm with you, but EJ is very big about being in control of Dimera, and I think that's just what it's about for Stefan. It's just the petty taking the control away. That's enough for him to enough of a incentive for him to try to take it away. He meant because being number two is fine, but he wants to get back at EJ, and EJ loves to be in control. So what better way to stick it to him than take away his control?
Yeah.
Just not very well executed.
No.
I still feel Leishan just looks like this lost little puppy sometimes. And then when Gabby put on that whip appeal to find out, about Rolf, I was like, oh, this poor man. He really thinks that this is going to go down, and he went in there and took that shower. And Gabby ain't gonna be out there, Jesus. She's about to be out the door. And Gabby is trying to get her man back by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Period. And the fact that she went through that length to go over and kind of seduce Lee into I almost just wanted her to call and be like, oh, where are you? I'm at the gym. I'm going to be there for about an hour. Oh, okay. Click. And then just go and check out his room.
Yeah.
And find it. And then maybe get caught in there and have to go, you know what? I came here thinking that I wanted another chance. And when you weren't here, I just saw it as an omen that this isn't going to work. So good day, Lee, and just leave, But it also showed, just how, I mean, listen, the whole time I was like, and the Best Actress award goes to Gabby Hernandez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the scheming Gabby we like, the one who has a purpose in, is not all over the place.
So, well, we'll see if Gabby's plan works to deprogram Stefan.
Oh, one thing, I did like the little interaction with Stefan and Nicole. I felt like it was like two people who like got each other for a second, because she was like, "What are you up to?" And then he was like, "I know you're lying about knowing about EJ, but whatever. Like, we'll keep this pushing." But yeah, I just like that little interaction where it was like they recognized each other for who they were.
Because he was talking all out loud, and she was like, "Excuse me."
What Dimera are you trying to get? Blah blah blah. Yeah, and he's like, "Kristen, of course." Like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
came up with that quick.
Right. All right. Well, there's that, and now we are on to Hold My Shit, the Nicole and Sloan story.
Props to Jessica.
Yeah,
I missed the episode.
Yep.
Yes,
Jessica, you're right.
Because the way she reacted to that was like, "Oh no, you're not!" Like taking off her coat, like she's gonna throw down. I was like, "Okay, this is good."
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Sloan is not one to play with, and it didn't take her but a millisecond to slap Nicole back after she got slapped. And when she slapped Nicole, she quickly went like, "Oh my."
Yeah.
Like, and then I think she kind of looked at Eric and she was like,
"Oh,
like we're back." You know what I mean? So, but I also, Gina Marie, I as they were doing the scene, I was looking at Sloane and I was looking at Nicole, and I thought to myself, Sloane is Nicole 2.0. And Nicole is Nicole. And I think we mentioned that when we interviewed her, which, by the way, if you guys have not seen our interview with Jessica Safrati, go back in our Dishin Days playlist and check it out. It was the last episode before we went on Christmas break. An amazing woman. And I mentioned in that interview how I felt like her character mirrored Ari Zucker's character as Nicole, because back in the day when I interviewed Ari, she was saying that the call was basically a model who could act, and so that's how Nicole came about. And so I feel the same about Sloane, except it was like a model who could act who's now a lawyer.
Yeah, I'd say she's more like 90s Nicole when Nicole settled into being bad, I'd say. Because I think Sloane still has a tinge. She's, I don't know, I say more bad than good, but I don't know. There was always something more endearing about Nicole back then, I think, more so than I think the character of Sloane now. But yeah, I'd say she's more like 90s Nicole when Nicole was sort of bad.
Yeah.
Well, and it's the way we got introduced to Nicole is Nicole wasn't immediately a bad girl.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't,
With Sloane came on, she was introduced as one of Alex's, friends, buddies, whatever you want to call them. And then buddy. We'll call him a buddy. But she hasn't really had. Nicole came on with an innocence, and then all of this stuff like started. The apple was peeling, whatever you want to call it, and then all of her skeletons came out. With Sloane, I don't want to say she was a bad girl, but she did have more of an edge to her right off the bat than Nicole did. And now I think it's almost like reverse. Like we got some backstory of Sloane. She, had some trauma with her mom dying and everything. And so now we're seeing, we're seeing the softer Sloane now. Like she actually does have a heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually like her more now than I did. I wasn't on with Sloane. I honestly thought, Christian, you clearly have not had. You haven't had a buddy, Christian. Anyway,
Who?
I totally didn't.
No, he's like, buddy, you don't sleep with your buddies. I was like,
oh, well,
it's a joke. It's a joke. It went over everybody's head. Never mind. Back to Sloane. The character, I am more endeared to that character now than I was before. When she first came on, I kind of took her as like, oh, she's going to be a flash in the pan character. But no, they're actually developing her more. And with that, I feel like the performance has changed. And yeah, so I like this Sloane now.
And that was one of the things Jessica mentioned was that Sloane wasn't supposed to be, this. It was supposed to be like a quick in and out character, and then they expanded her. So, y'all make sure y'all go check out the interview. There's a lot of details that you can find out about Sloane, or Jessica. But yeah, I felt like this week was everybody let Sloane how you feel week because she just couldn't get away from kind of being told off from Nicole, from Paulina, then Roman, then Belle. It was just kind of like
ambulance chaser.
Say what? Oh!
I'll call her an ambulance chaser.
Not the ambulance chaser. I was like, okay, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Sloane. Like, there's a part of me that gets it, but there's a part of me that's also like, I really don't think you understand that. Like, it really was not Chanel's fault that your mother. It really was an accident. So, and to put all this energy into this case and seeking revenge and everything is a lot. And then now to have Eric defending her, I was like, all right, well, things have just gotten interesting.
Yeah, that's how where I'm at with Sloane. It's like a dichotomy. Like, I don't like her with the Paulina and Chanel stuff. I'm sort of against her in that storyline. But other than that, I like her. I like her when I sort of like this thing she has with Eric. It's sort of still kind of undefined. And I like that it's still a little undefined. I liked her interaction with Roman. I like that she sort of didn't back down and was trying to be respectful, but also like, I'm not going to kowtow and, say I love this because it's some family recipe. Sorry. She's like, sorry. So I like her being strong, just not in the Paulina Chanel situation.
Yeah.
Side note, they made her eat a lot. Like, not only did she have regular breakfast, but then she had the clam chowder, and then they were going to bring her something else. I was like, first of all, where y'all getting all this food from? Because I'm hungry. And secondly, this poor woman she not eating all this.
No.
Yeah, that scene went on for so long. It's the type of scene where they would cut away, where she would say like, oh yeah, get me something else. And then they would cut away and that would be the end of it. But no, it was the breakfast, then it was the clam chowder. And then they came back with the salad that she actually did like. But then she had to leave, I think, because Roman came. It was like
a lot happened.
3 meals in this 1 hour. Yeah, that she's been sitting there.
Just been eating away. I still will never forget. Remember when they had the bakery or the cafe that Chad, when he was played by
Casey.
when he was played by Casey, and remember Mia, that whole storyline. I did background work that day, and they passed around like actual apple pies, and they were like, you can actually eat them. And I was like, oh my God. So I was just sitting there, just enjoying that apple pie. And I couldn't enjoy it so much because, continuity. So I was like nibbling at it, and I was like, oh, this apple pie is so good. I'm so glad that we can actually actually eat it. Anyway, sorry, just the thought of food.
The background.
Flashback.
Right. what was I gonna say? Oh, the scene with Nicole and Sloan. First of all, I just hope they keep writing them in this way where they're reading each other, because those reads were real and those reads were strong. And even when Sloan was like, Big Daddy, and I was like, or Big Boy, I was like, and then later Nicole was like, and then she made a reference to his, and I was like, this that peacock. This is that peacock that we're talking. But it was I love a good catty moment. Also, my mom has texted. First of all, my mom texted me and was like, "Stop looking at your phone. I'm here. Thank you, Mom." And then, secondly, she goes, "Sloane's a witch." See, speaking of reads, here's the thing. I wouldn't have to look at my phone if my mom would just join the chat. Anywho,
join the party.
Right. But that's pretty much it with that storyline, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we are just breezing through this.
I know.
Like,
we are.
But like there weren't a lot of big, there weren't a lot of big moments. That, like we said, there were a lot of dynamic interactions and dynamic performances. But did a lot happen this week? Was there a lot to,
Yeah.
Maybe
before we move on, we started talking about Eric, Greg Vaughn. I'm a little worried that he's about to go down this downward spiral if he doesn't get it under control, because there's a lot that's been happening in Salem, like, with the whole thing with Nicole, and now with the loss of Marlena, the kidnapping. Like, Eric's world is a mess, capital MESS, mess.
I mean, the spiral's already kind of starting. They showed him with all those shot glasses. He went on a little bit of a bender.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think the spiral is starting. How I'm thinking of it like a toilet bowl and the water spiraling. It's like, how far down the toilet is he going to go? Is he going to realize it, or maybe, maybe Sloane will be the one to bring him out of it. Maybe Sloane will realize something's happening and bring him out of it. Who knows?
Yeah. I feel like they're showing him like go kind of spiral, but I feel like he's like catching himself in a weird way. Like outside of the like interaction he had with EJ that time where he hit EJ, I feel like he's been, for the most part, he's been handling things kind of, or I won't say well, but considering, because I thought after that episode it was going to be him drinking every night or going on a bender, and he only sort of did it when Marlena died again. And then he immediately went over to Sloane. They slept together. He woke up. You know what I mean? I feel like if they are showing him going down a spiral, they're taking it really slow.
Yeah. Tyler. Well, okay. Michael, you need to be on days now as well as Justin. Oh, so now everybody gets a role on days?
I don't need to be on. I'm good.
Can you?
No, I can't imagine it. No. Do not.
But
no. Justin.
But like, what if they bring back like okay, one or two things that happen. What if it's like a reporter thing, right? And like we all played reporters, or like what if they brought back like the gays on days, and we were like this gaggle of gays that were just like.
No,
I already have my character.
You got a character now?
I've had a character before this show.
No.
Okay, well, who's your character?
I've always wanted to play Benji Carver, actually.
Oh.
I thought that'd be interesting to play. Yeah, like a grown-up Benji Carver. Yeah.
You guys,
Ron, if you're listening,
you guys can be on the show. My dream is to shoot the cast photo. Like, there's been all this kind of talk on Twitter because Young and Restless is doing their 50th, and they just did like a fabulous new cast photo. General Hospital's their 60th. They're doing this gigantic cast photo, and I was like, oh my god, that would be so great to do like Days' cast photo.
Yeah.
So you two can be on the show, and I'll shoot the cast photo. But yeah, don't put me in front of a camera. This is as much in front of a camera as I get. Appreciate the sentiment. Whoever Allison.
Someone said, Michael, that you could be the photographer at the Spectator.
Oh, I could be like a pap. I could be a paparazzi.
You could be a
paparazzi. The intruder.
Oh, or for Basic Black, yeah. Since her quit.
Oh God! What was the word? Smolder.
Oh, smolder.
I could do that. Maybe. Anyway.
So, side note, I'm gonna see if I can actually get it, but if I can't, you guys can just go to my Instagram. But just a side note, my friend, he many months ago, many months ago, he told me that he was like, "Oh, I have a surprise for you," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "What is it?" And when anyone says like, "Oh, I have a surprise for you," like for the longest time, I'm always struggling because I'm like, what is it? Because I really want to know what it is. And so then finally, I just saw him this past weekend, and he was finally able to show me the surprise. And the surprise was he was like, Days is very nostalgic for me, and I know that like it was a dream come true when you had your role. And so he was wearing this shirt that he made with two cats watching a TV screen, and it's the scene from when I was on Beyond Salem. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, look, there's Terrence." I love it. I'm so proud of myself to be able to tell that story and still like work to find the photo, switch it to the PDF, and then show it in time. Snaps for me.
I'm like,
anyway, sorry.
Like in my mind, I'm like, why is he go on? I was like, get to the he's gotta, yeah.
How dare you
gotta work. He's got to work to get it up there first. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, friend. All right, so before we get into tidbits, just a reminder, make sure you guys follow us on all social media platforms. We are on Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on Twitter. Also, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, on our YouTube channel, we not only have all of our episodes that we've ever done since 2015 up until today on our YouTube channel, but we also have many interviews that we've done at Daytime Mimis. We have all of our interviews that we've done in the studio with the cast. We also have like our press junkets during A Very Salem Christmas, during Beyond Salem. All of those interviews are listed on our YouTube channel. So go and explore, take a look, take a watch. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, find us on your favorite podcast station. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And of course, go buy some merch. Buy it. Merch. Do it. Now we're on to some tidbits. Starting with the Johnson family. I found it very interesting that the exact same argument we had about this whole phone debacle was represented by two different people. We had Paulina that was very much like, yes, in the wrong, nope, shouldn't have done that. And then we had Allie, right? Was it Allie? Who was the? It was Allie because she was talking to Alex.
Yeah.
Allie kind of be on the opposite end of like, I mean, I get it. It was like you felt threatened by Chad. I kind of understand. Like if it was anyone else, if it was Steve, it was And so I was like, wow, the same argument that we had. Now we have two people on the show kind of representing that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But does anyone like not care about what people are going through in their life? Because Stephanie just lost Kayla. And then Paulina came in and was like, I need your connection, Stephanie.
I texted you this. Paulina came over. Granted, she brought a casserole, which, okay. She had no problem going to Stephanie with an issue. But then when Belle came and she's like, oh, well, why so much? Well, I don't want to bother you with this. You just lost your mom. And I was like, Stephanie just lost her mom and you went banging on her door for help. Like, what?
I think we're supposed to, it's probably only a few days difference, but I think that was the idea of like Kayla died a week ago or so, and Marlena just died. I mean, the sentiment is there, but yeah,
Stephanie's still crying a river about it. She's still.
I kind of thought that, Michael, when she showed up, but then I also thought like, okay, they have that relationship too.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's probably like Stephanie probably needs to work to get her mind off it. So that's kind of where I faction Paulina was coming from. And she also did make the point to say like, take some time for bereavement, but yeah.
Not you using bereavement.
Yeah.
Justin likes to use those big words. Huh?
Well, he does have all those books behind him, He's read them all.
I still love that people thought like the revamp was Justin having an actual bookcase. That was funny to me.
I'm kind of digging. I was gonna say I'm kind of digging Wendy and Tripp after this week. After this week,
me too.
After this week, it's Chanel and Johnny, and Wendy and Tripp. Because I know Johnny and Wendy, I like them together, but maybe not. We say this a lot. Like I like them together. I like their interactions, just maybe not as romantic partners. Because I don't know. I just felt like Wendy and Tripp got to me this week.
I'm kind of with you. I like the swapping that we got. I do kind of like Johnny and Chanel. I like Allie and Alex actually too. And yeah, I like Tripp with Wendy.
So, I mean, it sounds like there's like the dance of the couples.
Yeah.
So you guys are saying you are team Tripp and Wendy.
Twenty.
Chanel and Johnny.
Yeah.
Allie and Alex.
I'd go. Yeah.
And then Stephanie.
I don't know about that.
Allie and Alex.
I wouldn't say Allie and Alex. No. No.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that. And then Stephanie with who? Chad?
See, I actually still kind of like Stephanie with Alex too. I'm not crazy about Stephanie and Chad though. I'm not really that enthusiastic about them too.
I'm not enthusiastic about either of those choices for Stephanie. I feel like Stephanie needs. I don't know. Stephanie, for some reason, to me, I see her as this powerhouse. And I feel like both Alex and Chad just are not, neither of them are really on her level. Like she needs almost like, she needs a Dimera man.
She needs like a Stefan.
She needs like a Stefan or an EJ type character. I'm not saying necessarily
EJ might be too much.
To match her power. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. She's an independent woman.
She's an independent woman, and I just don't feel like Chad or Alex. In my mind, I'm just like, I don't feel it. I just don't feel it in either side.
Yeah. Ooh, Patrick TV said, bring Quinn back for Stephanie.
Wasn't he a pimp?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like Quinn.
Not skeezy. Let's not get a skeezy man.
I honestly, before the Nicole thing, I wouldn't have minded if they paired Stephanie with EJ and sort of played on their past together. I would have been down for that.
I do feel like though It should be Stephanie and Alex. I still straddle the fence, and I can't believe we're still talking about the phone situation.
Okay.
It's like it was a horrible circumstance that he chose to shut her phone off because Chad called. I totally understand his reasons. I think anyone else can understand his reasons. I think everyone is just all like, but he shouldn't have been messing with her phone. And I'm just like, okay. But if Steve had called, if Sarah had called, if someone else had called, then like she would have made it. And it's not an excuse. It's just saying like you're so upset with him and can't see beyond that, and that you don't want to reconcile. So it always just feels like Stephanie is just always trying to find a reason not to be with Alex.
True.
And I think she
She's been making reasons, like, despite whatever attraction she has for him, she's made excuses since they first met. First, it was, oh no, we're business colleagues. We can't do that. Excuse number one. Now, excuse number whatever is the phone situation. And okay, yeah, he should not have done that, but should it be a complete deal breaker? Like, if you like him, like, get over it.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
But like I said, I'm not even
just like him.
But to me, I'm just like, I don't really.
You're not digging either one anyway.
I'm not digging either option for her, and I just don't know. I feel like they're just not. I don't know. Not feeling.
And then I just feel like to pair Stephanie with Chad, even though I think Abigail passed in like last year, like it wasn't October. It wasn't this past October. It was this past October.
It was not. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's too soon.
I know.
And she has a very similar vibe of Abigail. So no.
Yeah.
You're just trying to replace.
Well, Stephanie and JJ are cousins, whoever put that up.
Oh, are they? Oh, no.
They're related.
I forgot.
But
oh, yeah, because Stephen
barely related to Alex as well, but yeah.
No, but they're like more closely.
Yeah.
There's like blood relation there.
Yeah, they're blood related, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
So
I still want JJ back. Casey Moss.
Yeah.
They need to bring him back.
I agree to that. All right. Well, we stayed on that tidbit too long.
That storyline always sparks the
I know.
It always starts debate.
Which I guess.
Okay. Well, here's another one that's going to spark debate. Lil Sami, aka Allie. I just like. Okay, listen. This is not, y'all know I have loved Lindsay Arnold since the day we opened that door and she was Allie and she popped up pregnant.
Yep.
But this week, I was just like, Allie, girl, calm down. It was always, what do we have here? Oh, what we doing now? Oh, so, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Like, can we not like recognize the fact that Chanel didn't jump to a decision on her and Johnny for a while. Chanel took the time to really sort out her feelings and figure out who she wanted. And I feel like Chanel is 100% committed. But there is always going to be a care for Johnny because we have to remember they were married. And the only reason why they're not together is because of the devil.
Yeah.
So there's still a connection there. And the fact that both of his grandmothers just died, he's, cloudy in the head too. She's just being a shoulder to cry on. But then you got Allie like,
yeah.
What's happening with Allie, in my opinion, is yes, it is annoying, but I'm looking at Allie's situation. So this is her first, she's discovered basically a different part of herself. She discovered she may be was she gay, whether she was bisexual, and she decided to venture into her first gay relation or a relationship with a woman, her first relationship with a woman. Then they had a threesome with a man. So that had to create, which, she was all on board for and went into it willingly, but did not realize that how this would kind of tap into her insecurities. Plus, and Chanel kind of threw this in her face, she cheated on Tripp with Chanel.
Right.
And so there's guilt coupled with insecurity. And basically, Allie probably should just avoid all relationships and just figure herself out for a little while, because it's just the insecurity is rearing its ugly head. And that's what the strong reaction, coupled with, all of this other shit that's going on, like all the, Kate dying, Marlena dying, and it just it heightens, it takes everything to a heightened level. So I'm not giving her a pass. I'm just saying I could understand why she's reacting that way, and as annoying as it is, I think this is just very telling that Allie is not ready for. Allie may not be ready for any kind of relationship. And so now, and now she's, kind of going at, she got insecure about her relationship. So what is she doing? She's trying to go after someone else, Alex. And it's like, her immaturity and insecurity are coming through.
I think she was definitely insufferable this week. It was like, God, Allie, enough. Like she was all over the place. But I will say I did like that she was sort of holding Chanel's feet to the fire about what actually happened. And she didn't just brush it off. She was like, I saw what I saw. I know what I saw. Now I want you to tell me the truth. So that part of it I actually liked. And it was funny because people were saying, like, oh, she's like Sami. And I was like, well, actually, Sami would have saw that and would have hatched a scheme that would have took 7 months to come to completion, where Allie was like, no, I saw you. Tell me the truth right now. And so that I actually appreciated. And I thought that was, right. I was like, oh, that's actually the anti-Sami thing to do, even though it kind of reminds her of Sami, just because she's being headstrong and taking things in her own hands, but definitely not a Sami thing to do. So I like that. I just see it as her going after Alex. I just saw it as her going to Alex as a friend. I didn't really think there was anything underlying there.
I just wish that, because I feel like Chanel and Allie have this type of relationship where they do care about each other. I think there's trust there, and that they're easily able to like talk about things. And what I wish they would have done at the table the next morning, instead of fighting over the cereal, was just actually have an honest conversation of, yes, Johnny and I almost kissed, but I assure you it's nothing. It was a moment. It was, him grieving. It was us seeing, the slideshow of Marlena and John. And it was a moment. I care for him because he was my husband. But remember, I chose you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I wish that conversation was there instead of all week. Instead of all week just kind of coming in and just being,
it was always antagonistic.
Yeah. Which button do I want to press today? Do I want to choose violence or do I want to choose to ignore?
Oh, you mean as Allie? Is that what we thought you meant as Tony? We're like, wait.
No, as Tony. As Tony. Because you guys know I'm looking, if you're looking in the chat room, I'm looking in the chat room. I'm like, I mean, everybody can have an opinion, but girl, calm down. Like, I will say this. For people who are attacking the writers all the time and saying that they are ruining the show, I think we are a testament of coming on here every week. Yeah, there are going to be some things that you don't like, and there are going to be some things that you do like. But I think overall, you have to just go on the journey with them, because they can't tell you the ending, but they can take your hand and get you there. And if you don't like the ending, it's fine. But I think that if you had pen to paper in hand, you would be able to do what they are able to do, which is keep your soap opera on TV.
And there's a reason the team of writers that are in that seat have been there for God, how long did we go through every year?
Yeah,
having a new head writer every year.
was that period there where
They're switching head writers. They're switching. We're bringing back the writer from 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and then after a year, oh no, they're out again. Now we're bringing in. Ron has managed to stay at the helm for 5 years, 6 years now with Ryan, and Ryan Kwan is his number 2 and has been there a long time. And to think that they write an original episode 200 and sometimes a year, like, it's incredible. So yeah, like Tony said, there's going to be stuff you like, there's going to be some stuff you like. Are they ruining anything? No, they're just writing something you don't like.
Yeah.
Wait 2 weeks, you write something you do like, or watch tomorrow, maybe there'll be something you like then. There's a lot of criticism about the writing, and who knows about, how much network interference is going on, and how much, is it. Ron is not the only person in power at Days of Our Lives.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that that audience us are not privy to, and sometimes it gets in the way of what the original goal was and now how they have to pivot. And also, won't call their name out, but you'll know who I'm talking about in the chat. If we didn't enjoy Days of Our Lives, we wouldn't be doing this podcast. Anyway,
no one's paying us. We do this.
Not receive. I have not gone to my mailbox and thank you, Peacock, for the check. I have not done that at all.
He got the Peacock mug, but
And child, this was free. This was free. Okay, like this was a thank you for coming to interview them about the switch over to Peacock that y'all complained about too. So, hello.
Well, let's be real. No one actually hates it, because if you really hated it, you wouldn't be watching.
You wouldn't be giving your effort to it.
You wouldn't be watching.
You're just a hateful person.
It's okay to dislike a storyline and I don't like this storyline, but I like this one. It keeps me interested, and that's why I watch. It's okay to say that. It doesn't have to. You don't really hate it. If you hated it, I don't know why you would be watching it. I don't know why you would be in the chat. I don't know why you would be watching us. So therefore, you don't hate it. Like,
yeah,
it's just okay to say, I don't like something. I don't like this right now. I like the previous storyline. I like this storyline. It's fine to say that. Yeah, it doesn't need to be all or nothing.
And guess what? We have true. And on here, listen, we don't sugarcoat things. I think you guys who have been watching since 2015, we don't sugarcoat anything at all. We say it respectfully, because we don't say it disrespectfully like some of y'all, but we can say, not sure if that's working or not, or I really didn't like this. It's a way to say things to where we don't always agree.
No.
Well, thank you, Miss Kimberly, for all of your suggestions. We appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am. Girl. Anyway, all right. Well, that has been your week of days. Wait, did we finish?
Did we?
I think so, yeah.
More? Oh, it is. Oh yeah. We had 2 tidbits.
I'm uncomfortable.
Don't be uncomfortable, because listen, y'all know me.
Daddy's
y'all know sometimes I don't mind going, dude.
I'm out.
Choosing violence today. We just look. This show has been silly since day one. Yeah. Like we come on here, we enjoy having fun, we enjoy talking to the fans. We enjoy ourselves on this lovely Sunday afternoon. Okay.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you all. Yeah, we appreciate all 175 of y'all who are tuning in and watching.
Ooh, yeah.
We appreciate it. So thank you. And apologies if you got upset over my choice of violence, but
that wasn't even bad. You like that was on a scale of 1. That was like a 5 on Tony level.
I mean, because listen, she's gone there a couple of times, so much to where.
When they go low, Tony goes lower.
Listen, let me look.
Candy, they go
listen,
low.
I am very much like Candy. I am not Michelle Obama. When you go low, I go lower. Okay. And we have to, and listen, and before we move on to our segments, we have to praise the writers. If the writers were not great, they wouldn't be nominated for awards. They wouldn't be keeping the show afloat. They wouldn't be taking us through turns and twists and all this kind of stuff. And
also, guys,
they're doing what they can, y'all.
If you haven't seen our interviews, go watch our interviews with Ron. I think we've interviewed him 2 or 3 times now. Ron knows what's up. Watch the interviews. Watch how candid Ron is. Mm-hmm. He will very much say, I had a different direction for this storyline, but you know what? So-and-so wasn't available. So-and-so didn't want to come back. So all the things you guys wanted for this storyline, we wanted too. We were going to do that, but we couldn't do this. Or we got notes from the network. They want us to go in this direction. So we go in that. Like this idea that like, these people have no idea what's going on, have no idea what you think. They do. Ron is very much aware of what you think when you like the storyline or you don't like the storyline. And that's the reason why he engages the way he does. It's not that serious in terms of, it's serious in terms of this is his craft, this is his job. He takes it very seriously. It's not that serious that you don't like a storyline that you may not be informed about, quite honestly. It's, you know, come on, like, and enjoy what you enjoy and dislike what you dislike. It's not that serious.
Yeah. And you know what? With that, y'all stay blessed. We're going to move on to our segments, which is our favorite part of the show. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's Official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! So listen, I was having a hard time this week with settling on one person to give the 3 snaps to. And then it dawned on me. I'm giving it to the women of Salem because what we saw this week were very dynamic performances, from Belle crying over and going through the emotions of Marlena, to Sloane and Nicole having their spats, to Allie and Chanel and their awkward breakfast, which, side note, Lindsay Arnold, you could have put a little bit more cereal in that bowl before you put that milk in there. I just needed you to give it a little more shake before you closed her up. But there was, you know, from Stacey Haiduk as Susan, there were just so many dynamic performances. So my 3 snaps goes to the women of Salem for slaying the game this week. You get Tony's Official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! All right. And now it's time for Caption That.
All right. This week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Nicole and EJ's mimosa moment, with Nicole giving her that Nicole look that we saw in the photo of her and Xander, and now she's given the look to
the photo.
The photo that lives on. This week's caption goes to Matt Litchfield, our friend from Spectrum Celebrity Events, with his caption, Prosecco and Sunny D, how gauche. Now, I'm from the Midwest, and I would gladly take some Prosecco and Sunny D, and I would enjoy the hell out of it.
Michael Madison, there is no alcohol that you would not enjoy.
Absolute vodka. Makes me throw up. Can't drink it.
And peach.
That's the one.
The
Peach
absolute
vodka.
peach vodka.
I just need a little more time, and then I can, yeah. As long as it's not absolute peach.
And that has been.
That's a lot about
Action that.
And now it's time for
Those were the days.
Hey guys, I'm taking you back to January 27th, 2009, where we had the birth of Grace Brady. Yes, Grace Brady, who was Michael's flipping out, who was raised by Sami in Rafe, which is why her name is Grace Brady, but is the actual biological daughter of Chad and Mia. I picked this because there were a few other things, kind of big things that happened this week, but I like this storyline just because it culminated in a bunch of different characters coming together, and the stuff with Nicole, and this is where we got the Sydney sort of kidnapping from. This is sort of where it all started, and I'm always a big champion of bringing this character back. I think she got sort of shortchanged, and I'm always like, oh, I wonder what a grown-up Mia would look like now, and her interactions with Nicole, and possibly coming back, maybe something with Chad. I don't know. I'm just a big proponent of this character coming back and us seeing her from a different perspective. But yeah, we had the birth of Grace, who unfortunately died, and that's why Ariana is named after her two deceased aunts, Ariana and Grace. So yeah, and she's considered, even though she's Mia and Chad's daughter, we don't get Chad's perspective a lot when it comes to Grace, but we do know that Sami has always considered Grace one of her 5 children. So yeah, January 27th, 2009, we had the birth of Grace Brady.
And
those were the days.
I just love that. And we don't have It's a GIF today because Araceli is obviously out.
Because it's a
but what we do have is
news and gossip.
Yes, we are starting off with a big congratulations to our friend Zach Tinker, who has been cast on the show, CBS show Fire Country. He premieres tonight. It's a little unclear how many episodes he's in, if he's a regular cast member yet. I don't know. They're sort of maybe keeping that under wraps. I guess it may have something to do with his plotline on the show, but he's joining the cast as a new firefighter who will be heavily featured in, I think, actually tonight's episode, Fire Country on CBS. So yeah, big congrats to Zach.
He's busy.
Yeah, he's been busy. He's also going to Y&R for a few episodes, I think, with Greg Rickard, actually, and their characters may have a little thing.
Those happened this past week.
Oh, it did? Oh,
and Zach's character brought a boy home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's gay on Y&R too
as well. Yeah.
He's gay in Salem and gay in Genoa City.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Blessed. Hashtag blessed.
Big congrats to Zach on the new show, Fire Country, tonight, CBS. Check your local listings. Next up, our dear friend, Miss Victoria Conifel, has made her directorial debut. This one for the music video, Just a Phase. It's by Demi Ramos featuring Garzi. Go check it out. It's a really cute video. It's Victoria's, directorial debut. Who knew she wanted to get into directing? And I guess she was able to get this opportunity, and go check it out. It's a really fun, cute video. So yeah, good for her. Maybe this is a new avenue for her to go down. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say.
No, I was like, I went in for a clap, and I hit the mic, and it was just a mess. Okay, go ahead.
Next up, unfortunately, we have some sad news. We want to give our heartfelt condolences to Brandon Barash. He actually lost his stepmother this past week, stepmother Karen, from Alzheimer's. So want to just send out our thoughts, prayers, and condolences to him and his family and everyone who his stepmom has touched. He shared some this is one photo from his Instagram, but he shared some really sweet photos of his stepmom throughout the years. So yeah, go check it out and send him some condolences through social media. So yeah. Next up, we have this really cute, again, Steven. I feel like Steven is great with supplying us on some behind the scenes stuff. He did it again this week where he wanted to sort of honor his friend Drake Hogiston. So they were backstage at Days, and he started rolling and just basically kind of gave Drake his flowers, and they talked about the scenes with Marlena dying. They talked about he's actually celebrating his 37th anniversary on the show. And they talked about Emmy submission. And Drake, when you see him in this video, know that is Drake in real life. If you had the pleasure of meeting him, he's an incredibly sweet, gregarious, very humble guy. And even talks about he's gregarious. Moving on, he's a very sweet guy. And you'll see he's very not about awards and stuff like that, and even gives like a funny little anecdote about the Emmys, and he never submits himself. He lets other people do that, whether that's the network or whoever. But yeah, really sweet. And he also shares some memories of his first week, which actually was Stephen Nichols was actually on his first week of Days. So when he joined the cast, so yeah, go check it out. It's on Stephen Nichols' Instagram at Stephen E. Nichols. So check that out.
Listen, Drake said it costs $250 to
Yes, I
know. I commented on our Dishin Days and I said we'll donate, because even Stephen Nichols was like, listen, I'll pay because the work needs to be seen. And I was like, we'll donate too. So
yeah, if that's the only reason, then he could. Yeah. That's really Drake doesn't submit himself.
He was being humble. I mean, yeah. Well, I think we know Drake has $250. I think he can bust.
Oh no, but yeah, like I guess I didn't know you had to pay to submit yourself.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks. I knew you had to pay to like get a Hollywood star. You don't just get that. You have to like pay whatever the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, but
you have to be approved and then pay, and then you have to pay for your Emmy. I think when you win too, you have to pay for your awards too.
Yeah, nothing's free.
Everything comes with a cost.
Shit ain't free. Right. Nothing is free.
Next up, we have a new fan event. Mr. Eric Motsoff is teaming back up with Rick Springfield, and they're doing a fan event in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, October 5th through 9th this year. All tickets and information, go to rickspringfieldgetaway.com. It's a whole sort of fun-filled weekend, and yeah, give you a chance to sort of hang out with Rick Springfield and Eric Motsoff.
Ooh, it says all inclusive. That is the best way to vacation. I tell you.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty detailed, very structured weekend. That seems like a lot of fun. Yeah. And last but not least, we have our Dishin Days 8th anniversary celebration. We are doing a happy hour on our anniversary, which this year is February 8th. It's a Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're doing it via Zoom. Tickets are $15. If you're interested, please email dishindays@gmail.com. Please come check it out. We definitely have some slots open and are interested in people coming and hanging out with us. And it's very loose. You can ask us questions. We can talk about days. We can talk about us. You can get to know us a little bit better. But come join us. And this is your favorite drink or mocktail. And
this is our first fan virtual event, but we used to have a post Day of Days event over at AfterBuzz TV. We did that a couple of times, and sometimes it's just nice to be able to interact with fans. Like we interact with you guys over here in the chat as we did earlier, but it's better to like see each other face to face, and you guys are able to ask questions or give your thoughts about us, the show, days,
Tony, wait, hold up, Tony. You sure about that after today?
Yeah, give your thoughts about us. If you see an email from Kimberly Dupree come through, I'd like to join.
I'd be like, absolutely, ma'am. But come on and join us. We've been doing the show. It'll be 8 years in February, and it's such a great reason to celebrate. So come and join us. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see if Megan Bizarro is as sassy in person, in real IRL, as she is with her captions, because every week she submits a caption and it always makes me giggle. It may not be the one I always choose, but it always makes me giggle.
Yeah, it's also an opportunity
in the chat room, so
for us to see you too. If you're in the chat room and have been for years and have interacted with us on the chat or social media, but yeah, it'd be a good chance to still to see us, I guess, screen to screen for once. So
yeah, and I mean, I don't know. During our celebration, we might have some people pop in, maybe, possibly, no guarantees, but maybe. Allison, if we are ever having a guest on Dishin Days, we'll always announce it. So as of right now, no, there's no one scheduled for next week.
no lies told.
No lies detected.
No lies detected.
All right.
Liabilities here.
Well, y'all, it
that
is now
was-
time. Oh wait,
do you
what?
want to do the
Oh,
outro?
sorry. And that was
News and gossip.
and now it's time to see what is coming up this week on your favorite Peacock exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Life.
Maybe it is time to move on. Abigail would feel the same way.
I was down for a little deprogramming.
Just tell me what you feel right now.
I feel like I love you. I love you with all my heart.
Can anybody hear me? Hello? Hello?
Welcome to purgatory, honey.
Stefan's faking.
Chriselle.
See, and these are the things I'm talking about. Like what I love is always like the twists and turns that they do. And shout out to William Ute coming back as Raw.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, that was him in the clip. That was him in the clip.
Wait, old Raw? Oh,
Roll it back.
was
Yep.
it?
Maybe it is time to move on. Abigail would feel the same way.
I was down for a little deprogramming.
Just tell me.
No.
No,
No, not
that's,
him. Sorry.
but that's how good
It
the
looks
news
like
back
him,
is.
bro.
It
It
looks
looks
like-
like him.
like,
It
yeah.
looks like him. I thought it was him. I thought he was back.
I was
Sorry,
like,
y'all.
wait,
My bad.
wow, I missed that. Okay.
Thought it was him, and then I saw
Well, that's
the
a
ponytail, and I
testament
was
to
like,
the
nope.
oh god, the new actor.
He does look like the resemblance
Yeah.
is there. So yeah. But yeah, and I like I said earlier, kudos to Days for being able to like because you know they still tape months in advance to keep someone like Chriselle who's like big now. Like she has her own Netflix show. She wrote a book. She's doing Lifetime movies. For them to get her back for however long she's back and to keep it under wraps. Good job. Because I watched that and for that to be the last moment, I was like, oh shit. I was like, they got Chriselle back.
Yeah, good surprise.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a great week, and we cannot wait to talk about it next week. And the block button is amazing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episodes of Dishin Days. I've been your host, Tony Moore, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. I know I did it out of order.
At KimberlyDupreeFanClub.com.
Michael Mattis, tell the kind folks where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
And Justin Hareld, where can they find you?
Stop.
Oh, we broke him.
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Harrell.
And of course, if you want to check on Araceli, you can tweet her here
Oh god.
at Tia323 Araceli. And of course, you guys can find all of us on the interwebs. We are on Facebook as Dishin Days Show, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on Twitter. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. And as always, have a wonderful, happy, safe, positive week. And we will see you next Sunday, same bat channel, same bat time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.